Hi, this is a third video series of additive manufacturing and its type. In this session, we're going to see about the fused deposition modeling. Shortly, we can call it as FDM process. Generally, this process we can say it as the 3D printing process. Here, what is the beauty of this 3D printing process and FDM process? Here, the continuous filaments of thermoplastic materials is used as a material for fabrication. The filament is fed from layers pulled through the moving heated printer extruder head is deposited on the grooving works. The printer head is moved under the computer control to define the printed shape. Usually the heads and moves into the two dimension to deposit one horizontal plane or a layer at a time. The work or the print head is then moved vertically by a small amount to begin a new layer. The speed of the extruder head may also control to stop the start deposition and form an interrupted plane without stinging or dribbling between the sections. Generally, we can call this process as fused filament fabrication. It was coined by the member of RAP project to given acronyms FFF that would be legally unconstrained and in its use. The fused filament process is now the most popular process, mostly used in industries, private sectors as well as public sectors. Here, 3D printing heads 3D printing extruder is a part in the material extrusions. It's an additive manufacturing is responsible for raw material melting or softening and forming it into a continuous profile. The wide variety of filament materials are extruded, including plastics such as acryl nitride, butane, styrene, lactic acid, polyethylene tetraphthalate glycol, polyethylene tetraphthalate, high impact polystyrene, thermoplastic polyurethylene, elliptic polyamide. Generally, this how it extrudes. What's the beauty behind this? The fused filament fabrication uses the material extrusion to print the item, whereas feedback material is pushed through the extruder. In most fused element, the fabrication 3D printing machine, the feedstock materials come in form of filament wood on the spool. 3D printing liquor is a component predominantly used in the type of printing. The extruders for the printers have a cold end and hot end. The cold end pulls the material from spool, uses a gears or rollers based torque to materials and controlling feed rate by means of stepper motor. Cold end pushes the feedback into hot end. The hot end consists of heating a chamber and nozzle. Heating chambers host the liquefier which melt the feedback stock to transform it to a liquid. It allows the molten material to exist it on the small nozzle to form a thin taxi bed of the plastic that will adhere to the materials and it slide on. Nozzles will usually have a different diameter from 0.3 mm to 1 mm. The different types of nozzles and heating methods are used depending upon the material to be printed. We have various types of process available. First one is hot extrusions of rods. In this type of 3D printing, the feedstock is in the form of rod instead of filaments. Since the rod is thicker than the filament, it can be pushed toward the hot end by means of pistons or roller, applying a greater force under the velocity compared to convenient dribble process. The cold extrusion of slurries is one of the important process in this type. The 3D printing machine, the feedstock come in form of slurry, a paste or clay. All of the viscous suspension of the solid powder particle in the liquid medium which is dried after the deposition. In this case, the material is gently pushed toward the nozzle by the action of pistons and nozzle is not heated. And the paste-like materials such as ceramics, chocolate can be extruded using the fused filament process and specialized paste extruder. Hot extrusion of pellets. In this type of 3D printing machine, the feedstock come in the form of pellets, that is small granules of the thermoplastic material or mixture of the thermoplastic binders with powder fillers. The material is pushed toward the nozzle by the action of pistons or rotating screw, which are contained by an extrusion barrels. In this case of old extrusion barrel is heated along the nozzles. These are all the variant types of process behind the 3D printing, which generally FDM process. How the process will carry out, now I am explaining now. The FF process begins with the software process with STL file on orienting the models for the build process and mathematically slicing the model according to the processing parameters to be selected. If required, the support structure may be generated. Nozzle can be moved in both the horizontal and vertical direction and is mounted on the mechanical stage, which can be moved in XY plane. As a nozzle is moved over the table in the prescribed geometry, it deposits the bead of the extrude plastics called a rod. It solidifies quickly on contact with substrate and rod with the deposit area. The solid layer are generated by the following retaining motion, which are the rods. Rods are deposited side by side with an involving the domain boundary. That's all about the basics about the FDM process and its functionality. Thank you.